Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Kaizen Esports Tier 4 Mixed League. We're at week number 2. Ubers versus King's Odyssey. I'm your caster, Mr. Leapfrog. Along with me is Dino. How's it going, Dino?
Hello.
Yeah, I think Dino's mainly going to be doing like hosting the lobby and running all the stuff in the background. Again, big shout outs to Dino and WM for running all the stuff in the background so I can just focus on casting for a change. I'm ready for a tier 4 Gigabanger match, and I heard that's going to be a pretty good one, so be ready. I know I am. So I think they just got the ban set up. First ban coming from King's Odyssey, and they elected to choose Hazard. Follow-up bans are going to be Freya and Anna, and the final ban will wind up being Sojourn. So that'll be your 4 bans for map number 1. And of course, map number 1, since we're on week number 2, is going to be Ilios. Lijiang. I don't know my maps. I've been on the tech and grind for way too long, so I've been forgetting a lot of things. But either way, I'm excited to get us started. And I think we're almost done.
Pressy, yep, I just got the ready check from both of them, so we are good to go.
All right, map number 1, Lijiang Tower. Let's get it on. Yeah, so banning the hazard to start, I think that's kind of one of those scout things. I personally don't think that hazard's a very dominant tank within the scene, but it's one of those things that if you are annoyed by it or you see, some footage of potential players that may abuse it, it could be on the forefront of their minds. So, I mean, obviously having the first ban selection and choosing that one is pretty telling for how the map's going to unfold. So, we'll have to see what they decide to do here. I'm going to type up the bans for my deafened viewers out there. Don't want to listen to me. It's alright, you don't need to, because I can type everything out. Easy enough. And Freya. Wham bam, thank you, man. Alright. It looks like they're probably going to wind up matching the comps a little bit just off the start here. Maybe a match in the dive comps. I love seeing me some Genji gameplay, so. Like I said, I'm seeing a Winston on both sides, so more than likely going to be a Winston to start here. First map is going to be on Well. Lijiang Tower, Tier 4. Week number 2, baby. Let's go. Oh, yeah. I'm seeing at least one Genji. I'm satisfied. But, oddly enough, we're going to see a Cassidy on the side of... Who's blue again? I forget.
Blue is Ubers.
Thank you. All right. Blue, left side is going to be Ubers. Red is going to be King's Odyssey. Oh, man, and a big start from Ubers. Yeah, you see Radioactive kind of starting off the fight real early, following up on getting that pick onto Beat in the Poppy. Oh, man. And again, that's what the benefit of having that Cassidy is when you kind of have a tank to kind of tank most of the damage. And Cassidy already has a kind of a bigger health pool, so it makes it a lot easier to survive some of that smaller, pokey damage. Makes Winston have a much tougher time to kind of chunk them down. So, you see Sanji actually having a bit of a ult advantage here, but again, usual is probably going to want to build that high noon a lot earlier on first. Jumping in already, bubble being used, and Bacchus falling very low and having to back us up. So, and again, usual doing a great job kind of negating some of that tracer pressure. Bubble used on both Winstons here, just trying to play the slow, methodical play. But oh, Genji falling a little too low, getting a little too close, and the Lucio is going to fall shortly thereafter. Fight again, going over Ubers. Oh, you got to be real careful. You're not going to get picked here, but not able to chunk him down quickly enough. And Effie getting a little too zealous, trying to clear up that Winston, and again, another fight win here for Ubers. And again, with running Lucio, I mean, they can get right back into the fight really quickly. And with them being a man down, they might be able to go in a little bit sooner. It looks like they're going to play a little bit more passive. Go on top right again. Looks like going to match up the Winston bubbles once again. No, this time actually Baka's going to jump straight to the back line, recognizing that the Cassidy might be the problem. High noon, not going to find any connection. Beat coming out just in the nick of time. Primal Rage being used, a ton of ultimates, and Sanji accidentally eliminating himself with the post bomb. Bak is trying their best to try to eliminate this Cassidy, dealing with him the best way he can, just punching him back, but it's not enough. And a super dominant hold right there from Ubers. 90% in counting. Looks like it's going to be wrapping it up here on this point. I mean, they might be able to get a desperation touch from Yeet. But I mean, with no beat on deck, it's going to be much harder to try to stay alive, stay on that point. You see people just cycling out. Now Remedy just using the Primal Rage just to kind of keep people off the point, and did a phenomenal job of doing that as we close out this first point. 100-0. Complete shutout.
Score 1-0.
And you see, like I said, the matched comps, the only difference is that Cassidy versus the Genji. So I wonder if they're going to try, if King's Odyssey is going to maybe try to match that at some point, or maybe just trying a different strategy, play a little bit more aggressive. You saw Usual fall super low several times throughout that fight, but Redemption just did a great job kind of keeping them alive. Effie dropping the, you know, the last minute beat to keep them nice and healthy.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and you see right there, making a big composition swap, a couple different tank changes. Sanji going over to the Cassidy, and Jay actually going to the Tracer. So it's kind of unusual to see some of the DPS kind of flip-flop roles mid-match, because typically when you see somebody on Tracer, they're kind of the ones that stay on Tracer from start to finish. So Jay actually going over to the Tracer now, and Sanji going over to the Cassidy. So, and we're seeing the Mauga. Machine guns go brrr. Trying to find an opening here. Sanji already starting off hot with the Cassidy. Flex might have his work cut out for him. Radioactive falling pretty low as well. Yeet giving up on the... Oh my gosh, another pick again. Yeah, Remedy not being able to survive for too much longer. I would not be surprised if he swaps over to a different tank. Maybe going over to the Orisa, Diva, just something to help mitigate some of that damage from the Mauga. Or we could just do the same exact thing. What do I know? Going straight back to the Mauga. Matching and mirroring the Mauga. Radioactive going over to the Genji this time. I just got me a little bit happier. I saw one Genji swap and another one swap back on. So Serenity doing a good job trying to maintain that survivability for the Cassidy and the Baptiste. Usual falling super low, having to back up there. Bacchus and Remedy just going ham, trigger on trigger action right now. Double trigger on the tanks, just kind of holding it down. Jumping in. Oh, Usual getting a little aggressive. Yeah, that's the only thing. When you have the regen burst like that, you don't have a way to survive. But both Cassidy's being traded here. Immortality field already gone. Remedy falling pretty low. And Effie getting 2 picks themselves. Lucio playing their best impersonation of Frogger right there. But, I mean, despite getting those picks, it was not enough to be able to turn that around. They're going to be able to flip it off. But, I mean, they're more than happy with just flipping it right back. Bacchus. Huge body on point. I think he wound up getting the perk. Yeah, he got the perk that gives you the 2 hearts, so it makes that point flip a lot quicker when you have that many bodies and that many hearts on the point. You see the scoreboard. I mean, it's really in favor of Ubers, but all of a sudden King's Odyssey trying to turn it around. Remedy falling super low again. Sese Sokiki. Beat coming out. Both support ults on the side of Ubers. Big old Sanji popping their high noon. Every single ultimate coming out here. Sanji going to be able to get 1 pick. The Blade getting another. Looking for more, but he's just too chunky of damage. So much survivability, and it's finally enough to be able to close out that fight. A costly fight right there. But alas, Ubers, by the skin of their teeth, being able to flip that point over. 87% from King's Odyssey. They don't have a whole lot of ultimates coming up here on either side. I mean, they have Pulse Bomb on both sides, but it's going to be super... I mean, see, the Tracer's already dueling it out on the right side there, but it's going to be super important for these either Tracer to get an early connection. Oh, Remedy falling super low, and the Suzu was not in time to keep Remedy alive. Immortality field on point. Pulse Bomb from Usual, not able to find anything either, and now the domino effect happening. Uber is falling down to the last few players, and with 87% on the board for King's Odyssey, I don't know if they're going to have enough time to recontest here. Because usual, being forced back into their spawn, Remedy might be the one to force the touch, but I mean, when you're just a lonely Mauga on the point against 5 people, super difficult to survive, getting stomped on the head. Suzu coming out in time this time, but now no more utility to survive from Ubers. And a big composition swap from King's Odyssey is paying off in numbers right now. Last person on the point, not able to survive for too much longer. Flipping it around here, 147 in favor of King's Odyssey. We're going to a final map here in this final round here in this first map. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Great adjustments from King Odyssey. Ready for battle.
Loosen up.
Did I really say Elios and it was actually Li Jang? Oh, I flipped him around. Golly. Yeah, reading is hard, ladies and gentlemen. And if you didn't know, Tekken players actually cannot read. So that's on me. My bad, WM. My fault, gang. All right, here we go. Final round here, map number 1. They're neck and neck. And another adjustment from Ubers, also trying to match the survivability. They're doing the Baptiste and the Brig. Almost a mirror. Radioactive actually opting to still stick with the Genji. I'm a big fan of it. Let's see if it's going to pay off for them. Already first on point. Still 10 seconds left to the point unlock, so it's one of those things. King's Odyssey still has time to contest. Jay on the prowl, looking. But you see, that's the only thing. When you're playing the Tracer against the Brig, is already difficult enough to add a Cassidy into the mix. Almost impossible. Bacchus getting chunked down, able to get nice and healthy again. Primal Shout being used on both sides here. Both Maugas mirroring each other. Usual being a little out of position, getting caught out, not able to stay within range of the Immortality Field. And now, with Bacchus actually falling here, it might be enough to be able to help sustain on the point. Just when I say that Effie's going to fall here, and it's just the Mauga and the Genji surviving against the army. And the army will prevail. Point flipping over at just shy of 30%. Not too bad. Definitely a good fight, or definitely some good percentage there for Ubers. And again, that's the thing when you're running the Genji, it's very committal. When you want to start into a fight like that, you gotta use your dash in, and it's kind of risky. Usual, trying to get that early pick onto the Tracer. Jay smartly sniffed it out, playing at a safe distance. Just kind of spreading their attention span right now. And they don't mind this. King Odyssey does not mind just sitting here just waiting it out, because at the end of the day, they have the point. They're gaining a ton of percentage right now. Remedy falling super low. That forces Immortality Field. And that spells go time for Bacchus, because now no more Immortality Field means no more survivability. No way you can survive this cage fight. Pulse Bomb just for good measure to try to close out that fight. And it looks like it's going to be a team kill here for King's Odyssey. Effie surviving by the skin of his teeth. They have Rally coming to the next fight, but again, at that point, they're already going to mirror the rallies. It's going to kind of close each other out. Wonder if the window's going to come out here from Yeet, just to kind of mitigate some of that damage in that in this upcoming cage fight from Remedy. Yeah, they're kind of scouting it out, trying to figure out where they want to go. If I was them, I would just go straight to point and battle that out on a point, because I mean, they have all 5 ultimates on the side of Uber. Window being used early, as well as the high noon, and they're all going to kite it out because again, they already have the point. They can just hide. 75% in counted. They're going to flip it over. Two kind of big ultimates on the side of Ubers, and I mean, sure, they flipped the point, but they didn't get any picks here, so they're going to have to try to find the picks themselves all the old-fashioned way. I'm going to mirror it. High noon looking for a pick. They're all hiding from the walls. And the shield barely coming out in nick of time from Effie, but I don't think it's going to be enough to survive, and it's not. Tons of damage coming out here. I don't know if Radioactive is going to have the health to sustain and pop in place. He's going to commit. 1 pick, looking for 2. Brig dashing away, not able to survive, and Jay also getting 2 picks to kind of equalize it. It's back and forth right now, and now Radioactive, the last person on the point, and was able to get a decent-sized blade, but again, Jay helping turn that fight around. Again, has a pulse bomb as well. 80% left. Flex giving up on the Cassidy, going over to the Tracer just to help touch point. Radioactive as well on the Reaper. A lot more damage here. I was about to say big damage. Big damage equals big guns. Now, you see Bacchus holding that defensive position, but look at all the people on King's Odyssey just chilling on the high ground, not having a worry in the world. Wasei Wagiki playing outside the cage fight. Pulse Bomb gonna find nothing, but it does not matter because Redemption's gonna fall. It's just Epi and a dream. Radioactive trying their best to try to keep their team alive with the Reaper guy, but it ain't gonna work because a high noon spells the end of your time. Map number 1, going over to King's Odyssey. What a turnaround. That was a super dominant start from Ubers, and all of a sudden King's Odyssey said, recognize, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot, I can play the Malga.
Play of the game.
Golly, where are we at? Why does it look like that? Yeah, this cage fight right here, super impactful, but not enough to help turn this around. All right, good start here from King's Odyssey, and again, this is a pretty close match because I thought Ubers was gonna kind of, after watching that very first round, I thought it was gonna be a blowout. So to see King's Odyssey make the adjustments and turn it completely around like that, really surprising. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break right now because I gotta call my wife back. So we're gonna take a short break, and when we get back, we're gonna go straight into map number 2. It's gonna be an escort. We're gonna let the teams decide, and we'll figure out the bans as well. So stick around, guys, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Map number 2 here between Ubers and King Odyssey. Like I said, Ubers started off pretty hot on Ilios, not Li Jing, on Ilios. But all of a sudden, King's Odyssey made a couple composition swaps and just completely turned things around. So let's see if we can repeat the action from before, or if we're going to see, you know, a turnaround for Ubers. Made a couple swaps on the teams. You'll see once we load into it, but the bans for this map, I already pinned it for you guys. It's going to be Diva, Freya, Anna, and Lucio. Interesting pick. I'm surprised to see Diva banned. It's one of those characters I haven't seen banned in a very long time. She's very good, too. Very underrated. I think she's definitely one of the winners this season in terms of, like, strong tanks. So to see, you know, Hazard being banned the first map, it's one of those things. That's why I mentioned earlier. It's definitely a scouting decision for the teams, because you don't just ban Hazard out of the blue unless you know for a fact that they play Hazard, they like to play Hazard, or they intend to play on Hazard. But again, I'm joined with me is Dino. Dino running the lobby as per usual. The best head mod, and then WM12345 rocking the producing. So making my job way easier tonight. I'm Mr. Leapfrog. You already know me. I've done it before. But we're just getting the ready checks right now so we can load into map number 2.
Marissa, yep, I just got those, and we are going to go in.
We're going in, no pause. Here we go, guys. Map number 2, Eichenwald.
Traveling to Eichenwald.
Yeah, I know people are big King's Row lovers, but honestly, it's one of those things. I'm very, very fond of Eichenwald. I love the aesthetic. I love the choke. It's not really a choke. It's something they can actually walk through, and something. I mean, King's Row kind of similar situation, but alas, I know a lot of people kind of get held up at that statue. The statue kind of terrifies people, so it's nice to have that little building that kind of split the, kind of put a fork in the road for the attackers to kind of make a decision if they want to full commit to the left or full commit to the right. And of course, it's nice they have that little edge on the right side of the attacking choke, so that way they can fly all the way around if they are able to. You'll typically only see that with like Diva or Echo and Pharah if they want to do the fly around to get that flank, but I don't think we're going to be seeing any flyers throughout this match, which is a shame. I love me some flying characters. I used to main Pharah way back in the day. I still play her from time to time, but you know, moving barrage perk is not really for me. I'm the OG hold still and press it button kind of guy. But map number 2, Ubers still on the attack here.
Look out for each other.
Oh, I'm sorry. King's Odyssey on the attack and Ubers on defense to start. So let's get it going. But you see Sigma on the attack here for Bacchus and King's Odyssey, and Remedy coming out with the boxing gloves on the Ramatra. Lobster Rat going over to the Genji. Ooh, Jay already getting the first pick on their counter pressure with the Sojourn. Eat being used, more pressure. They're gonna pull back up here to go into the point. Nice little regroup. Immortality Field being used out, but again, Jay getting another big pick right there onto the support and just cleaning up. Who's the flanker here? I thought it was supposed to be Sanji on the Tracer, but right now Jay putting the railgun to the back of people's domes and letting people know who they are. First point going over, and we got 5 minutes on the time bank here to get this first point. Not too shabby. I like what I'm seeing so far. They have multiple people flanking different off angles, and then they have kind of some static defense with Bacchus. You know, a lot of survivability, a lot of ways to mitigate some of that damage, as well as, you know, with the Brig and Bap. Make it almost impossible to kill the Sigma, unless you get some sort of CC tool. Sombra's not banned, so I mean, I can imagine Sombra might be a pick at some point in time if they're not able to kind of hold this next point or two. Remedy trying their best to kind of keep Bacchus at bay. No more shield for Bacchus. Nice rock to kind of put some pressure on him. Forced to use the transformation already. And again, usual sitting on the high ground, putting a ton of pressure down. Bacchus not able to survive there. Yeah, I was gonna say the eat that he has, it's only, you know, works on that projectile damage and the hit scan and stuff. So having Lobster there to kind of help dash in to help close up the rest of that life HP from him, super nice to see. Pulse bomb coming out from Sanji at the tail end of that fight. We got to pick on the Genji, so now Bacchus can eat in peace. I can watch my YouTube videos while I eat. Don't have to worry about some tablet kid trying to steal my stuff. Remedy gonna get rocked, and a big rock from Bacchus. Oh man, Redemption was just outside of the angle, and that's the thing, when he rocked him at that angle, it forced him into a spot where he's not able to actually pull him out. So rock coming out again from Bacchus, trying to apply some more pressure. Usual jumping off the map. FA trying their best to survive Immortality Field with the shield in the nick of time from Remedy here. He got a couple ultimates on the side of Ubers, so we'll have to see how they want to approach here. Uh-oh. Getting a little aggressive here. I don't know how they're going to be able to survive here. Remedy putting a lot of pressure on him, but again, all the while this is happening, Serenity just sitting on point, pushing it through. Really good payload pressure right now. Pushed it very far. Deep, forced to back up here. Remedy making a full commitment in the back line. Jumping in, Lobster also popping the Genji blade. Not going to really find too much pressure with that and find any luck besides getting Jay. But again, with the way that Jay was putting pressure on the team, Jay might be the focal point of their team. So they can kind of keep getting picks onto Jay. Might be the way to victory, the key to victory here. Nobody saw it, Remedy, don't worry. The Bacchus swapping over to the Orisa. Orisa. Area denial. Usual, snuffed it out. And again, it's one of those things like you have to make sure you're paying attention to the payload. Do not want to C9 here. And those things, Sanji's doing a good job to kind of tap in the point a little bit just to kind of keep where it's at. Uh-oh, full commit here with the rally. It's go time. Ton of ultimates coming out here. Remedy popping the annihilation and annihilating the competition right now. More picks equals more fun. 3 ultimates committed from Ubers, and it was a great hold right there. Serenity tried to pop the rally, immediately shut down by Remedy's annihilation, beating him down right through it. Good adjustment right now. Keeping it going. Trying to maintain pressure here, and again, Jay was doing a good job that first point, just applying pressure from the off angles, but the way that they're postured on this defense, making it real difficult to try to get any off angles right now. They have every angle covered. Lobster getting a pick early there, just kind of forced their team to slow it down a bit. Bacchus twirling in, making the full commitment. Doesn't have Fortify. I was just saying, it's super risky to go without Fortify there. Barely running out and surviving by the skin of the teeth, but it's got Fortify again. Now Remedy is actually the one in danger here. Getting twirled in the corner, not able to go anywhere. Let me out! Terra Surge, just for good measure. Caught him. Oh no, Redemption got caught in there. Was trying their best to try to pull them out, but right there, that was a good call from Bacchus. He saw that Remedy wanted to try to pull him out of that situation, but rather than deal with that, he yanked them both back into the room, keeping the pressure going, and the Desperation Blade coming out from Lobster. He's definitely going to want a refund on that one. Losing it there. That was a dreadful blade. Unfortunate. Sanji applying pressure in the back line. Jay has the window, has overclock if needed. I don't think they're going to try to use it. I think they're going to try to save it up here. Immortality Field being used out, but Usual falling dangerously low. Lobster back in the fight. Minus the blade. And getting twirled off the map, but the Pulse Bomb is just there to help steal the kill there. Lobster getting obliterated, and Jay just going to use this to help clean up the rest of the fight. Last bodies on point from Ubers, and King's Odyssey, despite having a 5-minute time bank, barely pushing it in here with 30 seconds on the clock. Only a minute and a half added here to get this final point here on Eichenwald. We'll have to see how Jay's going to try to turn this around here, because right now Jay is kind of the X factor for King's Odyssey on their attack. Oh, and Bacchus actually opting for the Orisa shield. I'm surprised. I thought you'd want to go for the charge javelin here. I feel like the charge javelin is way more beneficial, especially in this team comp when they want to brawl in. It just kind of staggers them a lot longer. Terra Surge on deck for Bacchus. Rally as well for Serenity, going in deep. Remedy trying to fight back again. Trying not to make a repeat offender, but he's able to back up here to help sustain a little bit. Good call from Serenity, kind of forcing their team back, but now the tree coming out from Redemption's just slowing the push down even more. Oh, and now that usual getting the pick onto their predecessor. Oh, make it 2. Bacchus throwing out the Terror Surge at the last second might be a costly error. As King's Odyssey gonna roll him down, popping the rally just for good measure. Effie walking them down all the way to their spawn door. Go back to where you came from. And unfortunately, Yeet wind up falling off the map there. Just by the edge. It's one of those things super unfortunate. Get right by the edge and get yeeted right down to the edge. But now, 30 seconds again. That minute went by really quickly. Minute and a half gone. Final 30 seconds here. They're going to have to just hope to get it in overtime here. Because now, with their hold and where the payload position at, they'll have at least 2 fights here. Even if, you know, Ubers loses this fight, they'll have another one in overtime. Uh-oh, Bacchus applying a ton of pressure here. We still got pull from Redemption. We haven't seen too many pulls from Redemption, but he's got it in the back pocket just in case. Blade coming out from Lobster. Looking for one. He's got one. Looking for a second. Juno's going to fall. Jay trying their best to stop the bleeding, but at last it was already too late. Already lost to 2 people. And just the last person alive from King's Odyssey forced to back up here. And holding it at 40 meters on the second point here. Ubers has a win condition.
0-2. Switching sides.
Man, good try right there from King's Odyssey, but Ubers just doing a really good job of kind of cycling the ults out just to make sure that they're not getting caught out, you know, being too aggressive. Wonder how they're going to make the adjustments here, but again, this is kind of I don't want to jinx it, but this is kind of exactly how it happened last time. You know, Ubers looked really good that first point on first map, and all of a sudden King's Odyssey made the adjustment. They pulled out the Mauga, and forget about it. It was all over. So, I wonder what they're going to try to do on defense here. Oh. Bacchus still sticking the Orisa. Orisa. I would have thought he would have went to the Mauga or something. But I guess he's just really worried about the shield and wants to have a way to kind of walk past it. Jay back on the Sojourn. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Jay right now. Flex also doing their part with the Sojourn. Kind of keeping the score a little bit even right now. And honestly, if you look at the scoreboard right now, I mean, they're both kind of even on the stat line, all across the board. Supports, you know, healing's pretty equivalent. Damage is equivalent. So here we go. What's the approach here? Lobster back on the Genji. I love me some blade action. And Effie also going to the Juno. So it looks like they're going to want to do a traditional brawl comp minus the Lucio because it's banned. So they're going to just put the speed ring in, and Remedy's going to walk in and beat people down. Committed with that, forced to use recall. Sanji in a really precarious position, still able to get the pick. Forced to use recall super early and still able to get that early pick on him. Sanji's out as well, and because they've already used Hyper Ring, they have no way to escape. And Bacchus recognized that, canceling it out. Using the Toronto to kind of displace the rest of their team. Effie falling dangerously low, not able to survive there, and now it's just Lobster and a Dream. Able to pull him out here, so fight win going over to King's Odyssey. Not too bad.
Engaging enemy forces.
Again, back to square one. And that's the scary thing. When you want to commit with this fight with like the Hyper Ring, it's super committal. You don't have anybody else besides, you know, Lobster to kind of help follow up on that. But so you've got to make sure this grenade from Flex is on point, just to kind of make sure they kind of add any additional damage. Gravity well as well coming out right here. Are they going to try to force out Immortality Field? Might be able to force it out kind of early here. Immortality Field forced out as well as Terra Surge. Brock is getting 3 picks. Unfortunately, he was forced to use his Immortality Field super early on, but Bacchus had that Terra Surge in their back pocket just in case. It gives you a little bit of extra health as well, and he recognized that. Very smart from Bacchus. And again, another fight win No percentage on the board. I mean, they barely touched the point here from Ubers. 2 minutes left. Still have time. It's nothing to panic about yet, but I mean, I'm starting to get a little concerned. Hypering used super early here. At the choke. I mean, they're through, but again, they have to worry about Sanji. Sanji's been so annoying in the backline. Pulse Bomb just barely ripping it out here. Window also coming out from Heat. And it's something you gotta respect. You cannot try to challenge this window here. There's too much damage and not enough sustain. Redemption's got tree. This has kind of been the tree that saves all. Lorax really happy right now. Remedy's still getting dangerously low. And here it is, a big annihilation. Got one pick, working on two more. And Serenity running desperately for their lives. Not able to survive this ordeal. And finally, with the nice tree again from Redemption and a Remedy annihilation to help turn this first point, finally getting on the board here.
Escort the payload.
And again, these hyper rings are going to be super important to help initiate these fights. But again, this is kind of where it was like on Helios. You get that power position, like Jay's at right now. Oh my gosh, I jinxed it! Well, I was about to say that power position that Jay had was really advantageous. All of a sudden, Flex, despite the high ground disadvantage, still able to flip it around. But now no more Sojourn on either side of the fight here. Lobster committing with the blade, getting one, getting the beat, getting the yeet off the bat. Bach is falling super low. Only the repair packs to keep him alive, and it's not enough sustain. Serenity forced to retreat and not able to retreat in time. Sanji getting a pick on the point. Sanji also has Pulse Bomb again. You gotta be careful. Danger mode for Effie. If he gets stuck here, I mean, there's gonna be no support here for Ubers. And Sanji doing their best to kind of keep their team alive, being a real nuisance on the Tracer. Kind of taking these off angles, just being always on the forefront of their mind. Looking for a spear, no connection. Terror Surge on deck for Bacchus, as well as the rally. A lot of sustain here. Locking Satellite Vector, and they're going to go right back in! And despite the early rally there, the big orbital ray from Effie was able to turn that around there. Not too shabby at all. I was kind of skeptical of the Juno, but it's paying wonders right now. The Juno's really paying off. And Sanji just not wanting to stagger anymore, jumping off the map and reset, and now 3 minutes on the board here for Ubers. And again, this is 3 minutes to only push it about 40 meters. This is close. They can really just close it out with this one more fight win here. Bacchus has the Terra Surge, may not even need it there. Oh, still gonna commit to it. Caught three! And you're about to see the play of the game right back at you, son. 4 picks for Bacchus. I don't know, though. That's one of those things. I don't necessarily agree with that Terra Surge. I mean, we got the pick on a Remedy. They're forced to retreat. They don't have the sustain like a Brig. They have to back up. There's no need to waste your util that keeps you alive there. And now he has to do it the old-fashioned way with the window. Serenity also going over to the Kiriko. Window coming out from Yeet, but this is going to get countered by the tree. Big rockets incoming. Remedy also popping the annihilation, putting bodies on point, and they have to contest 1 meter to go. And with the bodies falling, it might be the domino effect just to help close out the rest of this fight. Bacchus got nothing left. Orisa shield in a dream, and it's not going to be enough to help hold that there. And Uber is going to be able to close out map number 2, tie it up 1 game apiece. Well, yeah, Sentai time. Lobster, I love seeing the Genji play, but Flex coming out big with the Sojourn. And again, it was all off the backs right here of that orbital ray. It really made a difference during that fight right there. That was the kind of the crucial moment, along with, the kind of the error decision of using the Terra Surge from Bacchus. But map number 2, going the way of Ubers, bringing it all the way back. And again, that was crazy because at the start, you guys saw that first point of attack for Ubers was kind of dodgy. I was kind of concerned. They barely got it with like 30 seconds left on the board, and they still won with 2 minutes left on the clock. So, but man, great map, great equalizer set here. I'm ready to go to break here, so we're going to go to a short little break, and we'll come back with map number 3 once they figure out what map they want to decide on and what the bans will be. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. Map number 3. You saw me type in the chat, but in case you guys are watching the VOD, we're going to be going to Circuit Royale for map number 3 here. King's Odyssey going over to the attacking or to the defending side now. So we're going to see how they make the adjustments here. Bans for this map are going to be Winston, Baptiste, Brig, and Lucio. And honestly, looking at the supports, that's a good ban because now you don't have to worry about the Malga comp anymore. Because that's kind of what they like to run if they want to run Malga. So even though you only allowed 1 tank ban, with those support bans like that, you're able to cover, 2 tanks, essentially. And with Lucio being the 3rd, I mean, it kind of opens the door to all sorts of different comps. So I'm going to be interested to see here what we're going to do. In case you guys don't know, this is Mr. Leapfrog. Along with me is Dino.
Yes.
I almost said it wrong again. She's going to be manning the lobby, but I'll be mainly the one on the mic here tonight. And, of course, the camera operator is going to be my man, WM12345. Don't forget the numbers. But finally going to be seeing some Freya action as well, I think. Freya's been banned pretty much every single map except this one, which is interesting because this is kind of more of like Widow's playground, at least for the first point or two, but I know Freya's been kind of the talk of the town lately, newest character in Overwatch, but also one of the more busted characters in my opinion. You can stay flying forever. But don't tell Jeff Kaplan that. I don't know who what's the creative director. I forget who he is now. But here we go, map number 3. King's Odyssey on defense now. Ubers trying to figure things out. Alright, and Remedy coming out with the Zenyatta. Interesting composition selection right now for Ubers. Widowmaker as well. There's a lot of possibilities for getting this early elimination. You got the charged up, Zenyatta. You got the flying Freya, and you got the Widowmaker. Just when I say that, Flex getting the first pick of the fight. Looking for more. Gonna get rocked, but it's not a big deal because we're flying in the sky. Bach is forced to fall back there. And as well as things, I'm surprised they banned the Winston like so early on because I talked to Dino a little bit before the map started. And I was like, I don't know why they wouldn't ban Sigma to start because I feel like Sigma is kind of like the go-to pick here. Lumi getting a little too aggressive, but luckily we got the pull from Effie. And this is kind of interesting too. I saw last map it was Remedy on the it was Remedy on the tank and Redemption on the Life Weaver. So now Remedy going over to Zenyatta. Maybe it's a strong suit, but first point going over to Ubers. Really strong attack here. 5 minutes on the time bank. And we've got a couple of good ultimates coming out. I know complete composition swap. They recognize that, you know what, this Sigma slow play is not going to work. We're going to go to the Wrecking Ball. Yeet in me poppy. Falling first. Once again. Playing these aggressive angles gets you caught out a few times. Bacchus going over the Wrecking Ball, trying to displace their team. Remedy rocking the Payload Princess. You better not say ooh. And gonna get one pick. Lumi looking for more, but usual Flex and Lobster just putting the work down on the DPS. Kitsune Rush coming out from Serenity, but it's not enough. Luckily, Bacchus is able to bait out the Transcendence from Remedy, but they'll be able to have another fight to recontest here. That's the benefit of running the Wrecking Ball. You just have so many opportunities to fight when you're staggering on point and just kind of delaying the inevitable. And the inevitable right now is going to be a point close. Not able to get the pull in time. Somebody jumped in front of him, actually. Just when I say that, Bacchus, that's a huge pick. They might be able to turn it around. Looney falling super low. Tula shot coming out, but the Suzu saving people's lives. Serenity. Clutch Suzu right there. And man, despite the point almost sliding in there, 2 meters left, Bacchus kind of saving their team. The minefield being used as well. I don't know why I said it like that, but either way, Sanji going over to the Ash. Now they have some sort of, some range pressure. It might be good, because one of those things that, pile driving with the Wrecking Ball into the Dynamites, tons of damage, tons of ult charge. And they don't have a Suze or anything that can cleanse them pretty quickly, and they don't have any of that AoE healing, so they're forced to, you know, devote some of their attention to anybody who gets dynamited during these fights. Lumi trying to go to the point, trying to walk it in, but Bacchus, smartly enough, recognizing that and having to push people back. Blocking Satellite Vector! I think the blade's gonna be coming out here. Jay gonna get rocked, so maybe not gonna blade anytime soon. But good kite right there from Ubers. They saw the King Odyssey orbital ray, but they immediately decided to back up off that fight. Uh-oh, and Ray J gonna fall super low and wind up gonna fall there. Flex able to snipe him out in the nick of time, as well as Lobster getting the pick your tree coming out from Effie. I have to put an F in the chat for this defensive hold, because now there's not going to be anybody left on the point to contest. And point number 2 going over to Ubers again. These, you're hilarious, dude. That comment is wild. All right, taking the high ground here. I love to see it. Hey, Bees is cooking. Let him speak. Freedom speech. Oh no, Jay gonna fall. Not able to pop the blade again. And yeah, Jay's playing a little too aggressive. He's getting caught out super early in these fights. Again, you gotta be super careful because, I mean, sure, you got reflex, but if you get rocked, I mean, there's not much you can do. Uh-oh. Oh, he popped his ult just to stay alive. Is he gonna be able to find anything? Serenity gonna get caught by the statue's not gonna save you. Just real heads up awareness for Serenity. Finally, Jay gonna come out with the blade, getting one pick, but he already committed to the dash. Gonna get rocked again. And oh man, it is so unfortunate. This man Lumi has it out for Jay so bad. Every single time that Jay wants to come around the corner, getting rocked immediately. Bacchus has the minefield again. Might have to use it to try to turn this fight around. We've got, you know, the Kitsune Rush. We've got Bob. I'm really afraid they're going to overcommit ultimates here. I do not want to see too many ultimates coming out this fight here on this defensive hold. I can imagine Bob can kind of hold the point by himself. And I think Transcendent's going to be beaten out here. Yep, Transcendent's going to come out from Remedy. Tons of ultimate, tons of fights going on at once. Don't let the payload walk in. He's C9! I watched it unfold, the C9! No! A crucial mistake from King's Odyssey! There's no way they let him walk it in there. They had Kitsune Rush, they had Minefield, they had Bob. All for nothing as they walked the point right in. Oh, that's a big mistake again. It's one of those things that when you play aggressive like that, Bacchus put the minefield in the back line. It was great because he forced out the Transcendence, but you don't have any other bodies that can sit on point. When you're running Genji and Ashe like that, there's no person on their team that can kind of stagnant on point. Oh man, they're gonna be kicking themselves up for that one. But honestly, you gotta have goldfish memory when you go into the next fight here. You gotta focus in and recognize, you know, it can still, you know, go both ways. You saw on Eichenwald how that first point held, how it went. You can kind of flip it around yourself. There's no potential of a draw on this map, you know, with payloads. I mean, there is, but it's very, you know, very minuscule, like a 0.1% chance of it happening. Knowing my luck, knowing I got a pizza in the oven, I just know that's gonna happen. Oh man, that is definitely a clippable moment for sure. Alright, let's see what King's Odyssey's got in retaliation. They did not like that, but we're going to start off with the Widowmaker. Alright, Sanji. Please don't ever do that again. That was crazy work. Oh my gosh. I hope you didn't see that, chat. WM, if you caught that, I might have to scrub that one, bro. He missed the pylon. You got it? Oh no. That is unfortunate. That is painful. Alright, Bacchus, again, trying to play aggressive. And it's crazy because, I mean, last time we watched Bacchus play the Sigma, he was kind of being the aggressor with the Sigma rocks, but now Lumi coming out for Ubers, looking pretty good. But finally, Sanji has a lot better opportunity hitting things that are moving than standing still. So, Sanji walking it down here. He did not notice the pylon. It's all good. We don't need to look at it. Scrub that. He really does have that goldfish memory. Does not want to think about it. But no ultimates on either side anytime soon. Sanji might be the closest one, but honestly, that's not really a deciding factor. You kind of know where everybody is anyways with the way they're positioned, the way they need to hold that point. He's looking for Lobster, trying to get that pick on that Freya. As well as saying, again, Freya's great, but I mean, when you're flying and standing still in the sky, it's just you're begging to get shot out of the, shot out by, a Widowmaker or a hit scan. Sanji again, first pick here. Flex, not able to survive along with Lobster. And again, running this Alari comp, or running the Alari here, it's kind of tough because I mean you don't have the sustain like the Zenyatta because you can't have like the Discord, you can't have both at the same time. And nice sidestep on the rock, but that's going to be first point here for King's Odyssey. And again, this is what I was talking about. Even though they C9'd that first point defense, does not matter. We've got time. Uh-oh. Perfect timing. I think he kind of read that like a book. Right back at you. Sigma Flex is mirrored, but Louis still getting the pick. Even. Both support, one support missing on each side. And Bach is falling super low, not able to rock. I'm gonna eat, and you're gonna eat. No, and the rock coming out from Bacchus to stop it, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough here. Yeah, falling too low. Zenyatta not enough to sustain, or is it? Now he gets the pick here, and he's gonna run back here. Widowmaker and a Dream. They might be able to get some extra payload pressure, and they do with a nice headshot from Sanji. Definitely turning it up a little bit. Had to warm up. That's all it was. Give me a time to warm up. And even though both tanks fall there, they're still able to get some payload pressure. Payload progress. Speaking of payload pressure, Lumi back into the fight here. And like I said, there's no more Transcendence. They have Suzu though, so they gotta bait out the Suzu. They want to try to find anything with this Alari captive son. Oh, he's actually gonna commit to it early. E being gone. Yeah, only gonna catch the Kiriko there. And it does not matter because it split the team so much, and it forced Serenity to play so passive because Serenity has been so on point with these Suzus that she was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to use my Suzu, in a smart position. Not gonna use it for myself. Not gonna be too selfish. But again, even despite having the counter for the captive son, still able to win that fight. All right, got the power position from Ubers. Nice rock block. Gotta be careful. Oh man, Louis not able to find any connection with his rock. Forced to use Eat, and here it comes, the orbital ray. Applying pressure, Rock not gonna find connection now. Lobster has had enough of it. I'm not gonna catch any more rocks. I'm not a geologist. Hola. And another fight win here for Ubers. Dwindling the time bank down. We're going down to 2 minutes left here for attack, and they haven't even capped the second point, so you only get a minute and a half left on. Oh, and Dino, somebody's in queue in the lobby when you get a chance. But
Okay.
let's see how they're gonna make the approach here. Rock coming out again, but Bacchus also going back over to the ball. Dashing in, Serenity, the Suzu is not enough, but the Transcendence coming out so late there. Trying to retaliate. Rock on him. And Just Jay trying to pop the ult here, trying to get some progress with this overclock. Definitely making a ton of space, but now the Blade shut down! Jay coming in clutch right there, but Effie does not want to see any more clutch moments. Using the rockets out, close it down. Bacchus trying to find some positioning. Effie, what are you going to do here? Yeet pushed all the way back. No more support for the ball, but just when I say that, Lumi getting pushed way out of position, and he's wind up going to get eliminated super low, forced to go into a little hidey hole, and able to survive by the skin of his teeth. I say that, but he's still super low. Discord Orb coming out. Lobster also falling super low. Minefield. Uh-oh, you're just putting me in a position to shoot you out of the sky! The captive son from Remedy not finding anybody, kind of throwing it out as a Hail Mary, and it's not going to be enough. Bacchus helping split up the team right there, and the ball pick is paying wonders right now for King's Odyssey as they roll it in. No speed boost. Not going to be enough time to touch, I don't think, with this many bodies on the point. Not going to make it. Yeah, Effie tried to touch it last second, but was not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. I want him dead. Sanji catching the rock here. Everybody kind of spread out a little bit. Again, Bach is kind of all on his lonesome in the back line, forcing Effie to use all their util. Uh-oh, you gotta be careful. The Ana is not enough to kind of keep their team alive. Sleep Dart is great and all, but it does not matter when Bach is already getting the Elim, already getting the picks, doing wonders on the Wrecking Ball. It's interesting, that Remedy went from Alari to the Ana. I would have thought I would see the Zen come back out, but maybe they think the CC tool will be enough to kind of displace the team a little bit. Oh no, Jay playing a little too aggressive, getting a little too aggro, gonna get caught up here. Picks being traded on both sides here. Flex also probably gonna fall unless he can get healed in the last second. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's the only thing when you run the Wrecking Ball, when you're playing, you know, Cassidy or Sojourn, there's not a way that your tank can mitigate any of that damage. Sure, they can give you the adaptive shields, but you gotta be in a position where there's teammates around. 60 seconds left. Already at a minute disadvantage, probably more. Probably gonna wind up being 2 minutes. Even if they want to win in the next 2 fights, it's still gonna be a 2-minute deficit. No, no, no! Discord coming out. Minefield. Trying to slow the bleeding a little bit. Lobster falling super low. Remedy falling as well. High Noon, Sanji putting in some work right now. And now he can safely do it, but it does not matter what the Transcendence doesn't keep him alive. Oh no, I thought the Transcendence was going to be enough to keep him alive there. Bacchus fell as well as Sanji. But again, you can't really have that lateral movement while you're stuck in the Graphitic Flux. You can only go up and down. And you're surely going to go down with the Graphitic Flux pulling me down with the greatness. Jay almost having overclock here. They're going to have to hope for an overtime push here. Overclock's going to be mirrored here as well as the Tula shot. Nuvangana! No connection though on the Wrecking Ball. Going to be anti as well. Suzu coming out from Serenity. And he's going to fall. Serenity falls as well as Sanji. Jay trying to equalize the fight. And he does with 2 picks of his own. Wrecking Ball in a dream. Discord always on Lumi. But he has E to stay alive. 2 HP from Jay. He's falling so low and he's not going to be able to keep that orb on him for too much longer. Again, the Discord paying wonders, but it wasn't enough to help recontest that point as Ubers takes a 2-1 lead, fighting back here and showing that the Wrecking Ball is not going to pay off with my team comp. Look at my suit. Man, what a turnaround. Yes, Sanji definitely turning up the offense a ton, dude. That Sanji definitely made some numbers that game. All right. Ubers now on set point. Looking very strong right now. Looking poised for victory. Only needs, you know, 1 more map win and they'll be able to close it out here. Yep. So we're going to go to a short break again. We're going to discuss what the teams are going to go for in terms of map selection and for map bans. So stay tuned and we'll be right back after these ads. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here at map number 4 for week number 2. Ubers and King Odyssey, man. This is a great match so far. We're actually put up some predictions in the chat, so if you guys want to bet your channel points away, who doesn't love a little gambling? So spend all your points if you want to. If you think Uber's gonna be able to close out the set here, or is King Odyssey gonna turn it around, take us to a map number 5. Bands are already up as well. I already put it in the chat, so it'll show after the prediction is set. But it's gonna be Diva, Baptiste, Kiriko, and Lucio once again. So it's gonna be definitely a lot of fun here. I'd love to see how they make the adjustments here to try to turn this around. Again, no Bap and no Kiriko. I'm feeling like this might be a Mauga type of map for Bacchus. It's something I think he's pretty good at. He's pretty flexible, as I've seen from the tanks. He's played the Sigma pretty well. He's played the Wrecking Ball obviously well, and he's played the Mauga equally as well. But here we go, map number 4, Esperanza. Loading straight into it. Yeah, I believe tier 4 is right around like the Masters range. So I think like high diamond to high Masters, right?
Initiating match.
All right, Masters 5 to GM 5. Thank you, WM. And again, this is Mr. Leapfrog. Along with me on the mic / running the lobby is Dino, and my man behind the camera, whispering in my ear, WM12345. Don't forget the numbers. All right. The push map. Push map. It's one of those things, again, it can go back and forth. So, honestly, if Bacchus wants to run the Wrecking Ball, now's the time. Because Wrecking Ball on a push map is a nightmare. And it's one of those things I'm surprised we didn't try to get the Wrecking Ball banned right away. But, who had first ban again, Dino?
That would have been King's Odyssey.
So, okay, well, I guess Ubers doesn't have a choice, because you can only ban, unfortunately with the banning system, you can only ban one tank per map. So, let's see how map number 4 turns out here. Bach is actually starting off on the Orisa.
Look alive out there.
And looming dangerously on the Mauga. Yeah, Lumi apparently is pretty flexible too, because I thought Lumi was like their Sig player. Because most of the time with some of these teams, when they have this many tanks on the roster, they typically just have a dedicated Sigma player. But 5 seconds till the robot unlocks. And this is when the map really starts here. People are just getting into position. And I got the sauce coming in here for flex. Uh-oh, Yeet's gonna fall. It's unfortunate. Yeah, gonna get caught out of position right there. Lumi also getting caught out of position. Falling super low, but Remedy trying to keep him alive. And of course, with the Mauga on the prowl like that, it's kind of hard to kill him. Kind of hard to get that Elim. He has a lot of survivability, especially with an Ana on deck as well. So it's going to be really important for Sauce to try to eliminate Ana and kind of alleviate some of this this tankiness from the tank. That is a quote from me. I'm sorry. But also having the Brig as well as it's like a natural deterrent. You don't ever really want to go into playing as a Tracer. I'm a Tracer player myself. Kind of scary to go into the Brig play. But I mean, you see, like nobody's really touching the point right now. Are they just gonna lose one fight and done? That's it. That's the checkpoint already. And King's Odyssey already starting off on the back foot. 1 minute in, lost the checkpoint already. That's a big mistake. No Lucio. There's not really a way that they could recontest quickly without a Juno or anything. But either way, they didn't even look like they wanted to contest. Sleep Dart coming out early here. And again, no Kiri, so they can't cleanse either the sleep or the anti. So, Sauce, again, forced to recall super early. Again, all this payload, all this push pressure right now and progress they're making is super beneficial. Because, I mean, there's 71 meters and counting, and they have not even... Oh, just what I say, they haven't thought about getting eliminated. Uh-oh. And a big anti again, and despite Lumi falling in his cage fight, they're still able to capitalize on the people that got caught up in there. And usual flex again, popping that overclock just to kind of help make sure they close out that fight for sure. 4 bodies on the point here for Ubers, and they're taking a lot of payload progress. sorry, the push robot progress. Sauce giving up on the Tracer, going over to the Freya, but Sanji said, let me do it. He said, let me do it for you. But Lumi falling a little low. Cage fight coming out from Lumi, but the Nano keeping him nice and healthy. Anti coming out as well. Lumi is just all by himself. Avoid nobody even daring to go into the cage fight, and he still survived. Malga not broken at all. The Nano right back at you, trying to go after Remedy, but just when I say that, I mean, the tanks are kind of going into each other's backline. Sauce getting the pick on the Flex, and Sanji showing off who the better Tracer is. And finally stopping the bleeding here at 113 meters off of that 3-minute consecutive push right there. King's Odyssey got their work cut out for him here. But again, no Lucio on either side, so it's not something they can kind of rush back into the fight here. They're going to have to let him flip it over. Everybody got the forward spawn, but that's all they're going to get. All right. Starting off the fight on the high ground here. They got to make sure they kind of keep Flex and Remedy in that power position here, because again, that's what you want to do with these hit scans. And where is the tank? Odyssey, where are you guys going? The bot is over here. What is going on? And Bach is playing really passive. It's so bizarre that they're kind of letting them kind of push the bot back into the neutral playing field. Maybe they're trying to force him off the high ground, so maybe there's a method to his madness. Serenity falling super low. Is he going to be able to survive? No, got a little too aggressive right there. Saw he got inside, thought the armor's going enough to keep him alive. And it's not enough. Tula shot trying to keep him killed. And the pulse bomb enough to choke down the rest of the Malga. And Flex, oh man, that was actually scary. Almost jumping into Effie, putting him dangerously low. Sanji trying to get the last bit of kill onto the Brig. And the Tracer coming to the rescue. Radioactive just keeping their team nice and healthy. And again, they got forward spawn, so they are totally complacent with just getting the forward spawn and just backing up. And letting their team kind of regroup, reset, and get that power position again. When you're playing on Esperanza, you have to take over the high ground. It's super crucial. And the cage fight super early on. I think they're able to keep him alive. Bach is falling super low as well, not able to survive. Yeah, and another fight win here for Ubers. And normally they'd want to sit in that power position, but they actually want to go for more. I want as big of a lead as possible. I want a 100+ meter difference. If it isn't 130, it ain't for me. Looks like there's probably gonna be 130 again. Bach is playing super passive right now. Very unorthodox. Normally, I'm seeing Bacchus like going into the back line, playing aggressive, and this is, it's definitely one of those things like he's worried about like Lumi kind of diving the back line himself. He does not want to make, too big of a commitment and wind up letting his team die in the back line. Yeet, gonna have the Nano here. I wonder we're gonna commit with the cage fight as well. Oh, big anti here. Lumi gonna get anti, forced to run back. Commitment into him, and he's gonna get antied and slipped and killed. Not able to survive long enough.
We need to get them.
Oh no! And he has to survive here. He may not be able to survive to get that Nano off in time, and he's not gonna survive. Bacchus has to be the last one to touch. Cage fight being used, but he was already antied, and the big anti coming out from Remedy might be the solution to be able to close out that fight. The desperation post bomb from Sanji. Last alive. Nano onto Freya. Tula shot is enough to kill two, but it's not enough to touch the point. A big C9 again to close out the series. Ubers fully caps on push and closing out the series with a 3-1 victory. Great stuff and a big call out. The Kiriko ban was so crucial during that fight because not being able to cleanse those antis is what really helped turn these fights. And you saw right here, this is where Lumi popped a huge cage fight, got so many bodies into that fight that despite that Lumi fell, they were able to easily turn that fight around and close it out with a full cap on Esperanza. What a set, what a match here. But that's going to do it here for week number 2 of this match. I got my MVP nominations and honorable mention nominations as well. Both teams are going to have an MVP for the team. But alas, what are you thinking, Dino?
I see, me personally for King's Odyssey, I definitely really liked Sanji and just Jay. Like those, I was watching those two almost the entire time when I was on King's Odyssey. When I was on Kings,
Yep.
Bryce, those two were.
Yep. Yeah, Sanji was definitely the pick for me for King's Odyssey for the honorable mention. So,
Yeah.
and then for Ubers, what were you thinking?
Honestly, I'm going with usual. I don't know. I don't know. I just like the way they play. They were good for me. So.
For me, I Usual was kind of like the go-to person during that fight, during a lot of those interactions. For me though, it was actually Remedy that was kind of giving me somebody I was watching, because I mean Remedy started off on the tank on map 1 and 2, and then swapped over to the support and was putting in a lot of work on support. And as well as things, I think without Remedy's support, I don't know if Flex would have been able to provide as much as he was during that match.
That is true. Yeah, Bryce, you're not wrong about that.
So, I mean, if it's okay with you, I'm thinking Remedy for everything. I know.
Listen, whatever you think, I'm down for. Bryce,
All
I
right.
enjoyed all of it.
Let's do it then. I'm gonna give Remedy the MVP for our match here for Ubers. Again, it's one of those things. It's not common for a lot of sport players, but again, I watch everybody. I tell you, I know what to look for and what works in team comps. I coach myself, so it's one of those things. Without Remedies, like these big antis, these big Discord orbs, they really made a difference throughout these fights. I know I didn't really mention him too much, but I mean, you obviously saw towards the end there, the Ana was the difference maker. It was blatantly obvious. But again, big congrats to Ubers winning week number 2 here. That was a 3-1 victory. Full cap on Esperanca. Not too common you see a full cap on push maps, so definitely one of those impressive push feats that we don't see too often. So we're actually going to close it out here. Again, that's been it for Leapfrog. Dino, you got anything else for us?
No, Bryce, GG's to both teams. I really enjoyed tonight's game. I loved it, actually.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to see some competitive matches here, and definitely Tier 4, the mixed league, is definitely one of those leagues and areas where it's kind of scary to see where people will go, because it can go any which way. But we're going to wrap it up here. Again, big shout-outs to WM12345 for running the stream for us, making production look way nice and making it way easier for Dino and I to do our jobs. Again, my bad, Dino. But that's going to wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you guys again next time.